Good morning. Come on, let's do that again. Good morning. Okay. I know it's morning, but nevertheless. So what a tremendously exciting and happy occasion being here with you for our first in-person convocation since 2019. We're not in a hurry. You can keep applauding. So it's been a long time coming, and you have gone through unprecedented challenges to get to this day. So let's hear it for the Teachers College class of 2022. And graduates, let's also hear it for everyone who has helped you on your academic journey. First, our faculty who have done so much to support you and are so committed to your success. Our staff who have put in unseen hours to ensure that you could continue to pursue your studies throughout the pandemic and stay connected to the college and to each other. And most importantly, your family, spouses, partners, and friends whose love, generosity, and patience, I will venture to say, have been the indispensable ingredient for you getting to this day. All of you have taken this great and daunting task of obtaining a master's degree for a purpose. For many of you, that purpose took shape from the injustices and inequities you perceived around you. Driven by compassion and a moral conviction that things could be different, you are impelled to make a change, to help create a society in which no one is denied access, inclusion, and opportunity because of what they look like, who their parents are, how much money they have, where they are from, or their different abilities. This sense of purpose comes from what the renowned philosopher and TC faculty member, Maxine Greene, called wide awakeness. Living wide awake is the opposite of passivity and indifference. Wide awakeness is to actively reflect on your condition in the world, to inquire into the forces that appear to dominate us, to interpret the experience we are having each day. And through this continual act of awareness and questioning, to develop a sense of agency that is required for living a moral life and enacting change. Every bit of progress towards justice that we have made has been because of individuals who lived wide-awake lives. They have been able to reflect on prevailing conditions and use what Greene has called their social imaginations to envision something different. And then they have pursued that vision with an indomitable sense of purpose. I think back to the Reconstruction era, when in the face of almost every challenge, the African American community relentlessly pursued an education. They pooled meager resources to hire teachers, found or built spaces for schools, and faced down violent opposition. Despite the many powerful forces arrayed against them, by 1900, they were able to virtually eradicate illiteracy among Black Southerners under the age of 40. I think also of Americans like Dr. Susan LaFlèche Picault, a member of the Omaha tribe born in 1833, who witnessed a fellow tribe member suffer and die because the white doctor refused to come. She was inspired to become the first Native American woman to earn a medical degree, served as a doctor and advocate for her people, and opened the region's first modern hospital. Or Dorothea Lynn Dix, born in Maine in 1802, whose own challenges with depression inspired her to advocate for the fair treatment of patients suffering from mental health disorders. She led the establishment of 32 modern mental health hospitals and helped shift public perception to a more compassionate understanding of mental illness. Teachers College is infused with the spirit and legacy of such wide-awake lives. Sadie Delaney, for example, was born in North Carolina to a father who was a former slave. She escaped the Jim Crow South to earn education degrees from Teachers College and insisted on doing her student teaching at a public school, despite efforts to relegate her to a segregated non-school setting. Undaunted by profound racism and discrimination, her driving sense of purpose led her to become the first Black woman permitted to teach domestic science in a New York City high school, bursting open closed doors so that others could walk through them. Or Dao Wen-sing, who came to TC from China in 1915 to study education, saying, "No genuine republic can exist without a genuine public education." After graduating, he headed home and founded the Morning Village Normal School in Nanjing. Along with his contemporary TC alumni, Zhang Poling and Zhang Minglin, he helped build a modern education system in China that brought it from an illiteracy rate of almost 80% to the powerhouse schooling system we know today. And there's Elizabeth Farrell, a TC faculty member, whose social imagination was sparked in the early 20th century when she worked as a teacher with boys who were then labeled incorrigible and mentally defective. She sowed a revolution in how we teach students with disabilities. Besides founding the nation's first graduate program in special education at TC, she established a diagnostic clinic here that developed personalized support strategies for learning disabled students, the forerunner of the modern individualized education plan. These individuals did not solve all of society's ills, but they saw one thing they could change. They pursued it relentlessly, and they made the world a better place. Today, our society faces many challenges. We're witnessing a rising tide of extremism and racial violence and an assault on reproductive rights. We still have to fight to ensure equitable access to a great education, to nutritious, affordable food, to high-quality medical, psychological, and therapeutic services. None of you will be able to solve all of these challenges, but you are here today because you have the wide awakeness to envision what it could and must be better in your chosen field and to strive to make that a reality. That spirit has been so abundantly evident in the class of 2022. The pandemic posed unprecedented challenges. Many of you had to juggle parenting and working and scholarly pursuits. Some of you faced the death of loved ones, illness, solitude, or economic insecurity, but you persisted. You kept your purpose front and center. You worked to make change in a world with an abiding sense of compassion for those who faced greater struggles. You provided remote tutoring, counseling services, and therapeutic care. You created and shared online curricula to keep students learning and engaged. You rallied against climate change, racism, and racial violence. You organized mass drives for people in need and delivered groceries to at-risk neighbors. You increased access to school meals and food pantries. You worked to bring diversity, equity, and inclusion into schools, corporations, nonprofits, and to our TC curriculum and community. And then when you returned to our buildings, you worked together with energy and enthusiasm to rebuild a vibrant campus culture. You held more than 100 events and outings to forge community and build knowledge, organized and participated in roundtables and conferences, and met regularly with me and the provost to share insights and advocate for peers. Now you will go out into the world as educators, artists, administrators, counselors, therapeutic providers, leaders. You will bring your knowledge, compassion, and wide awakeness. Your work will shape current and future generations and empower them to flourish in mind, body, and civic spirit. There is much to do. There will be times when you are frustrated in your efforts. But if you hold tight to that sense of purpose that has brought you to where you are today, you will enact change. You will have an impact. I can't wait to see all that you accomplish. So let's hear it again for our amazing 2022 graduates.